Welcome to a new Daily Top AskReddit video. Today's topic:
how do conservatives feel seeing the images of the No Kings protests? From what my conservative family has told me, they don't care as it doesn't directly affect them. Yeah, that tracks. Conservatives in a nutshell: it's not my problem when it doesn't affect me, but then when it is, it's everyone's problem. Quote, they aren't even seeing those images. That's how the internet works now. They'll only see them if somehow they turn violent and Fox News begins having a reason to show them. I live a block from one of them and there's a few news trucks at it. The gym I go to has Fox News on one of the TVs, the other TVs have other channels, and I could clearly see that Fox News was acting as if LA was in the midst of a violent rebellion. Most either ignore or laugh at it. Anybody who thinks they're scared is naive or deluded. Yep, they're still sharing that meme of the map of the 48 states colored red. Population density is a concept far beyond the ability of the conservative mind to grasp. We don't protest because we have jobs. Ignores the fact that it's Saturday. Also ignores J6. I mean, plenty of people still have jobs on Saturdays. That's why I couldn't go to the local protest. My conservative friends don't really care either way. I'd be willing to argue most people don't care either way. Most people are just gonna keep going about the usual day to day. I've been to a lot of protests, demonstrations, and marches. The one I went to today, at a pretty busy intersection a couple towns over from me, was the most supportive response I've seen from passersby of any I've been to before. It's not a particularly high-density population, it's actually a pretty mixed bag politically, but leans right rather than left, and there was a constant cacophony of people thinking their horns in support and throwing thumbs up, fists, etc. I only saw two people express contrarian opinions the whole time we were there. There were probably around 2,000 people at the protest. I was pleasantly surprised. I'm conservative and saw the protest in Nashville at brunch. I think protests are an important American right and support that. This is what traditional American conservatism looks like. MAGA is not conservative. I couldn't agree more. My parents raised me to be a classic American conservative: limited government, individual rights, etc. I'm simply baffled by how, it's probably Fox News' fault, how the Republican Party did a 180 on all of my political values and took my parents with them. What used to be a Republican is now just a Democrat who's unusually skeptical of the government's ability to solve problems. You're welcome to join us, considering the current administration is directly contradicting your conservative beliefs. We welcome you. I'm a conservative. I also agree with protesting against the president's defiances of the Constitution and the courts. As a conservative, I'm ashamed of his disdain for due process and for the rule of law, and I'm truly miffed by that being called conservative. A life sentence to a foreign concentration camp for alleged illegal entry into the country is not reasonable. It's cruel and unusual punishment for a crime that the punished is given no opportunity to defend against. That's not conservative. It's tyranny. Why do I hold those opinions? Because I'm a conservative, and I remember what our values are. I'm also in favor of these particular protests as called for. Their organizers are stressing they be conducted legally and in good order. They ask that their participants absolutely do not bring any weapon of any kind, that they try to de-escalate any conflicts, and that they participate in no violence. Bad news: you've been redefined as a loony liberal extremist. Yeah, I get that from some Trumper just about every time I say anything critical of the president. I was ridiculed as a commie Biden worshipper on FB. No joke. The reason I criticized the president's posting a picture of himself as the Pope. I was at a No Kings rally outside of Kansas City today, and one of the guys there had a sign reading something like, "Lifelong Republican who hates Trump." Had a good conversation with him, super friendly, objective. We disagreed on a number of things, but he wasn't rabid Republican. He wants better border control but is appalled at what ICE is doing. He is post-Vietnam era vet and feels his party has betrayed him. I didn't have the guts to ask him if he voted for Trump in 2016 or 2020. He claims he did not in 2024. I totally understand why people would vote for him in 2016, and I'm okay with that. As far as I'm concerned though, you try to overthrow an election and you lose all benefit of the doubt. I don't understand people who want to vote for him after that. Glad people are exercising their rights to free speech and assembly. That's where I'm at with it. Told the wife to be careful and to call if she needed anything before her and her friends left this morning. Are you conservative but your wife is liberal? Edit, forgot, you. I just stopped by the No Kings rally here in my small suburban Boston town. Holy smokes, there were thousands of people, lots and lots of families with children. Everyone very respectful and upbeat. Nobody blocking traffic. Very uplifting. Update. Boston's WCVB News reports more than 1 million people attended today's No Kings rally in downtown Boston. People who are not from Boston need to realize the population of the city of Boston is only 650,000. Same in my small town in Montana. Thousands, and the energy was so patriotic and upbeat, smiley face. My mega mom told me not to call her if I get arrested, woman shrugging. My dad complimented me on my suburban picnic, tears of joy. As a dad, I hope they stay hydrated and have a safe ride home. Yell your guts out. Nobody should be mad over a protest unless the protest is extremely stupid or violent. I think as long as it isn't violent, we shouldn't be mad if a protest is stupid. Stupid people are allowed to protest stupid things all they want. IDK man, the Westboro Baptist Church has had some pretty heinous, but non-violent protests. I am all for non-violent, peaceful protests. Go for it and have fun. These protests are not partisan. These crowds are full of conservatives, liberals, and anybody else who believes that America should remain a democratic republic. Yep, my southern Christian conservative dad joined his city's protest today. He recognizes that nothing about this administration is Christ-like or conservative and is full of grief and anger over this. As someone who is slightly right of moderate, it warms my heart to see the people expressing their first. Even if I absolutely disagreed with you, get out there, ya fucking patriot, and create the world you wanna see. We're one of the lucky few who can. As a liberal who protested, hell yeah brother. Hooray, smiling face. I'm a conservative and am supportive of the protesting. Executive overreach is a problem no matter who is wielding it or how. Congress needs to get a spine and function as an equal branch of government. I considered myself a moderate conservative in 2016, but Trump forced the moderate right to move one way or the other, and now I don't identify with what the right is turning into at all. I'm joining in with no kings. The America I love has no king. Same here. Moderate conservative my entire life. Father was a moderate, grandpa was a moderate. My local county GOP threatened to have me removed from the party after asking me to come do canvassing for 2024. I told them I don't support Trump, won't vote Trump. So the county head went on a rant about me not being a real conservative, so I changed my voter registration and joined the Democrats. I might not agree with their stance on everything, but I can voice my disagreement and not be threatened, blocked, banned, removed, called names or anything else. As apparently the only conservative in this sub, I think the right to protest is important, and I'm glad people are getting out and making their opinions known. I'm also glad it seems to be going well. Showing people that this can be done. Much stronger message being sent than burning cars. I might not agree with the left on a lot, but I respect anyone willing to openly express their opinions. They're waiting to be told via Truth Social how they should feel about it. I support the right to peacefully protest. As long as they remain peaceful, then I want them to make their voices heard. Depends on the kind of conservative you're talking about. Some probably roll their eyes and see it as more liberal doom and dramatics. From their perspective, America isn't a monarchy, no one's being forced to worship a king, and military parades aren't unheard of. They probably see the protests as performative outrage, another example of a group that's always anxious, always catastrophizing, always looking for something to be traumatized by. But deeper than that, a lot of conservatives simply live in a different mental world. A lot of conservatives focus on personal responsibility, stability, family, faith, and pride in institutions like the military. So when they see a bunch of people shouting, "No Kings," on Flag Day, during a military celebration, it feels like an attack not just on Trump, but on the things they value: tradition, order, and national pride. Many, maybe even most conservatives don't walk around feeling like the world is ending. They might be frustrated with politics, but they're not exhausted by politics like liberals. That's a big difference. Watching the No Kings protest probably reinforces their belief that liberal culture is defined by crisis, by constant emotional upheaval, symbolic resistance, and identity-based stress. So yeah, to some conservatives, it probably looks like a big group therapy session masquerading as a movement. A protest not just against Trump, but against the emotional weight of the entire world, which they never asked to carry. But most of them probably just shrug and say, let them protest. That's freedom. Just don't block traffic. You summed it up perfectly. I'd also add that many conservatives I know are more concerned about the Israel-Iran conflict and what that may trigger than any protest going on. More and more right-wing people I know are having their opinions of Israel changed. I personally just hope it doesn't escalate to something bigger, but TBH, I think there's a great chance it will. I'm a conservative and you're totally right. Protests don't bother me or any other conservatives I know. There's always some protest going on and they always blow over. The Iran-Israel conflict bothers me though. A country saying, "Death to America," just successfully bombed Israel's version of the Pentagon. I can no longer bring myself to say I'm pro-Israel. They've bombed 4 countries this month. They're clearly stirring the pot. That doesn't mean I'm pro-Iran though. I'm anti-war, but TBH, if push comes to shove and we have to get involved, I'm siding with the country that isn't chanting, "Death to America." As a conservative, I really couldn't care less. There's nothing to be particularly outraged or pissed off about. They'll do their thing, I'll live my life, that's basically it. You're okay with the military being deployed on American soil and American citizens in violation of the Posse Comitatus Act? Yes, they are. This is most people I know. Conservative here. I support the right to peacefully assemble, even if I disagree with the substance of the assembly. I think the military parade is wasteful and unnecessary, but I also don't think the timing of the parade and the escalation of an Israeli-Iranian conflict is a coincidence. Just the beginning of our backslide into fascism. Ask yourself what your red line is, because Trump will make you answer that question sooner than later.